mate. The series hasn't tied yet. Oh, those ties.
Oh, that's a language barrier right there.
Yeah. Actually, Ox, I do want you to step away because we've shown off the trophy.
Oh, okay, see you later.
But we haven't shown. Oh, you can't see it.
Wait, we're gonna
have to lift up Tibbers. Here he is.
Oh my God!
He's
look at that
wearing
medal.
our medals. Look at that. Oh no.
We can touch those, though, right? Do we need gloves?
Oh,
he touched it.
They're actually really heavy. You can come back, Orcs. Don't worry.
That's quality.
Come back and join us. All right. Getting into picks and bans. No, we wanted you here. We just didn't want you there.
Come back, you.
All right.
Do you want to know what will make Voyage not want me here?
What's touching that?
Don't do it.
Right.
Look at the trophy.
We're into picks and bans. Let's talk about this. Aurelia Yorick being taken away.
Yeah, same as before. And they're actually banning away the Tristana from Monk, so not wanting to see him get his hands on that, although last game it was the Kai'Sa that he picked up, which was a pretty devastating effect, but in the end it was Yusu who came out stronger on the Tristana.
So what's it with UK and Tristana? Because like I swear I've never seen this pick
If
ever
you're a
get
UK AD carry and you don't play Tristana, you're not a UK AD carry.
You're not,
we are like, for some reason, all our top ADs play it.
Even
it's
if they're
just
not
a country
originally
pick.
from-
It's the warband 1v9 pick. What can I say?
I mean, yeah, yeah. After all those games where it does exactly this.
Okay, Kali's open. We have
Yep.
seen Krogston like tend towards this Akali a little bit more.
Krogston
But that
will definitely
Hecarim
play it.
is also open.
Mummus and Chibs will both play it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Kairos play it. I don't think he's really in his wheelhouse. Nolty would absolutely want to get his hands on the Hecarim. I mean, it's weird because coming out of that game one, I don't think either team can be happy and go, oh yeah, that's how we wanted the game to go. Everyone obviously lost, but Diabolus, that wasn't clean. That wasn't like sort of a game where your coach goes, good job, guys. He goes, oh, well, at least we won in the end.
That's a good ban.
I actually like this because you ban away the Nautilus and then you leave the Akali and the Hecarim open. And if Diabolus take away one of those two, MNM, you expect to take away the other. So they're just having a little think about what they're going to lock in. But I expect this to be either a Hecarim or I expect it to be an
Something that was
Akali.
banned before was the Vayne, and that is left open. Remember, it can be flexed uniquely by Diabolus to go top or AD carry. It's the one team who'll flex it, but they're going to look towards that Akali right now. So that denies it for both Chibs and Mummus. And you have to expect that because Diabolus banned away the Aurelia and the Akali. I don't think they'd leave it open this time unless they were going to first pick it.
And yeah, immediately the Hecarim getting, and I do feel like the Akali is a much more solid first pick because Vayne, even though it's incredibly strong, I do feel it's so greedy if you get up into something like a Kayle Morgana lane, you just get perma shoved in. Just getting that on the first rotation would be something that can be punished.
I'm actually wondering if Chibs plays Jace. Now, we saw it a lot in the European Masters. If Akali got picked, they'd instantly lock the Jace as the counter pick to it.
Mummus does play it, but the thing is, Kerberos isn't the one who's going to play the Akali. I mean,
Yeah,
it might,
does Chibs
they
play
might
is
have been
the
preparing
question.
it, but for most times it's been Krogston who's been playing it, and it's not about whether Mummus can play the Jace right, it's whether Chibs can play it.
All right, well, I'm a little think about what they want to get their hands onto. Ideally, I'd like to see the Jace, but we haven't seen it here, so maybe the teams have other things in mind, and that's the kind of classic Akali counter. You pick your Lissandra into it with the Aftershock. It makes it very hard for the Akali to find that assassination attempt, and
I'm wondering whether or not we're actually going to see Aftershock on 9.9 because, of course, it has.
It's still good in the early levels.
Yeah. I mean, but like the late game was neutralized so much, right? Like
You're playing Lissandra. If you're going for late game, then what are you doing? You know what I mean? Especially when you're up against a Vayne as well. MNM have just a composition where they want to win around the mid game. Diabolus have some big threats later on in that Vayne, and then potentially the Braum really solid pickup. It interacts actually well at stopping the engage because you can block the claw from Lissandra, and it means you just can't follow it.
Can you block the charge from Onslaught of Shadows?
I don't think so. I think you can just run past Braum.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Which is kind of what Hecarim does anyway, right?
You know, that's the thing he does. But they're actually looking towards a Morgana, which is, it can be a flex, and this is a sort of pick that would suit Krogston because he likes to play those control mages, but have seen it before in the support role, so I like that they've kept it as a flex here because I don't think you can just blind Morgana in a single lane because there are picks that can go up against it and do well. A big one was Karma that was played yesterday up against it. It wasn't in the same lane though, which is kind of why it didn't work. But if you get the lane matchup, it's good at poking it down. And they're actually going for that Soraka, so
we
lots
talked
of
about it
changes
yesterday.
Yeah, lots of changes. It can be played in the mid lane, can be played support, so it's still technically a flex. If you're mid lane, you go full AP. You support, you go the standard like Athene's build, maybe Ardent and then Redemption. And the thing is, they nerfed to E poke, so you can't just max E and spam poke the enemy out of lane. But the healing when you land your Starfall, your Q, is huge. It's so much harder to shove out of lane. And if you play a mid, you just can't ever get pressure. And that's the thing, if they're playing the Akali in the mid lane, and you play the Srock in the mid lane, I think you really will struggle to have kill pressure.
all right, well, we're into ban phase 2 here. So we've had the Rek'Sai taken away. Don't want to look towards any kind of early game junglers don't want to give that over. Now, you were saying yesterday you don't think the Rek'Sai is quite as strong as it was, now that we're not playing for that kind of level 2 crab spike, but...
I still think Rek'Sai is good because his level 3 is pretty solid. Once
Yeah.
you have all 3 abilities, he's pretty stable and able to take trades. So I think Rek'Sai is still fine. I think Jarvan's one who took a bigger hit, which is why I think MNM, it makes sense to ban away this Rek'Sai. I mean, Monkeys did make a lot of impact on the Jarvan, but I do just think the pick is weaker on this patch. So they may ban it here, or they may just not want to worry too much about it.
So typically at this point, we see the Olaf being kind of the next jungler people fall back on. Do you reckon MNM ban that away? They actually ban away the Jarvan, don't want the engage, but
Yeah.
for me, this now screams that Monkeys is most likely going to look towards something like that Olaf, as it is kind of like the last power pick jungler I can see being left open, as the Kindred's also taken away from earlier on in picks and bans.
I wouldn't mind it too much. I think the Olaf is fairly solid here. Otherwise, you're really going to be looking in the realms of like something like a Sejuani, where your early game impact is really going to be neutralized. Now, we saw the Diabolus though, and I think that especially with a Vayne getting locked in, you have the same potential, because something that the last game did show me is that even though MNM weren't playing the cleanest, I do feel like they just categorically have the better early game. They find the early skirmishes, they find the early picks, and even though their objective play isn't as clean as I'd like to see, where we see them kind of fall for that in favor of aggression, I do feel like as Diabolus, you can't just give MNM the free reins in the early game, because last time they played a little bit sloppy. You don't know whether they're going to do it again here. You see the Jhin getting picked up.
That's a Jhin.
Yeah, new build path came out for Jhin, where you build Infinity Edge, Infinity Edge, Infinity Edge. And then, I mean, it varies.
Is it actually 3 Infinity Edges?
Well, I've seen people build
heard double.
2, 3, or 4.
Wow.
4.
Yeah, I've seen people build 4. 2,
That's
3, or
100%
4.
crit, my dude.
100% crit, a ton of AD. You use 4 autos on someone, they die.
You have Soraka. I mean,
Wait.
This is interesting because this suggests that, like we said, the
Top lane,
Vayne
yeah.
can be flexed, so it's likely to be a top lane Vayne here, mid lane Akali, and then it's Varus, Morgana in the bot lane, which is pretty good setup and kill pressure on a Soraka. And then Skarner. It rounds out the composition and has that
How did I
lockdown.
miss that? How did I
yeah.
forget Skarner was about? When you said Sejuani, I was like, oh yeah, that is a Monkeys pick. But then you also think about this Skarner, another signature Monkeys pick. He loves these tank junglers.
And I want to do my last predict. I think it's probably going to be a Kennen here because it's playing up against the Vayne. You want something that has that range to trade into it. And that's a sort of pick that Mummus has been confident playing. I definitely think that the
Oh, hold on.
the
This has been
Soraka's
left
bot
open,
lane
actually.
and Lyssandra's mid, but
yeah, got buffed on 9.9.
yeah, he's actually going to go towards the Silas, which is a bold pick up against the Vayne because I think you're going to struggle in that lane matchup if you aren't able to get on top of her.
But are we sure it's not going to be Mummus and Lysandra?
I mean,
That's technically
I mean,
also an option.
I don't.
in theory, it's an option, but no, I do think Chibs is going to be the one who plays Lysandra. I think Mummus is going to be the one on Silas. This is what I would expect those players to play based on how I know them. It's like in theory, Krogson and Kerberos could swap their picks, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
If you steal the final hour, though, every time you Q on Silas, you go invisible,
It's pretty insane.
which is kind of cool. So yeah, he actually does steal the invisibility from the
Wow.
final hour.
The big one is a Skarner ult. We saw that earlier in the UKLC where a Skarner ulted the Silas and the Silas ulted them back and they just
stand
sat
there.
there, yeah.
I think they shook. They kind of each other like that.
Like neither of them were doing it for like, oh well, guess this is happening.
If we actually do take a look at what ultimates are available to this Silas to steal, I didn't see a bad ulti there. I mean, final hour is probably the worst, just because basically all it does is it reduces the cooldown of his Q, and it also makes him go invisible. But then I look at like Skarner ult, takes the Impale. He can take the Perfect Execution from Akali. He's got Engage that he can steal with the Varus ulti. Also a Morgana ultimate, scaling off his AP scaling as well. That's going to be nuts. So
Yeah, it's a pretty good
actually, it's
selection.
quite a nice rounded amount of ults for him to steal here, which
think-
is quite exciting.
He is going to scale very well and he has a good choice of ults. My concern is just up against the Vayne. That is not going to be a fun lane of phase at all.
Yeah, because I think the only way that you really trade favorably with Vayne is if you can get up and close with the abscond and abduct, but then she condemns you away and she tumbles and then you kind of lose the trade.
Yeah.
So I have a really hard time. Maybe if you can get the lane shoved in early, get some harassment down and maybe see some jungle attention there, but then...
That's the big thing to me. It's going to be the jungle attention. I feel like Nulty needs to put attention top or they're going to struggle. I feel like mid lane with Lysandra is going to mostly be a neutralized lane. Bot lane is a big one for me where MNM, they just want to play passively with that Soraka to scale up. But on the other side, the Morgana Varus, they're looking for kills. They want to land one route, follow up with another. Kushta, I did see that Shogun went cleanse in the end, so there's not as much threat on him. But Monk is still going to be a target on that Jhin, and obviously he's not like we saw him have. We saw Yusuf great play on the Tristana, able to jump out of the CC. You can't do that on Jhin. If you get hit, it sticks.
And I think that the Jhin is a really risky pickup, even just with the Vayne Morgana, right? It would have been risky. And now I'm looking to Monk is, we saw last time that even in the team fights, even with how fed he was on Kai'Sa, I feel like at times he died where it wasn't really necessary. We didn't see the overextension where he jumps into a team of Killer Instinct because those all worked out well. But on the Jhin, yes, you can't move forward, but you're so stationary. And as you say, if a single piece of CC hits you, there's enough follow-up and kind of scares me going into the team fights.
Alrighty, gents. We are getting a moment away from heading into the game. So I want some predictions on who you think is going to take this game, because 1-0 up to Diabolus coming out of game 1. It didn't look like it was going to be their game to take, but they were able to take that. So I'm going to start with you, Chronicler. Did that sway your opinion? Who do you think is going to take this game?
I think it's going to be a 1-1 for MNM. I think that the early game was really good. I do feel like the bot lane, in terms of last time they were able to get ahead with a bot lane where I didn't really feel like necessarily that was kind of what you're looking for if you get into that lane. And perhaps even more importantly, I think that the early game, keep coming back to that, from MNM has been so good that if they can rein in that aggression just a little bit, if they can just focus those objectives as opposed to just going for the kills every single time, go for the kills half the time. Okay, but then the other times, actually pick up the first turret blood and pick up a dragon instead of just charging past multiple people. And then if they do that, I think that we're going to see the same pattern. We're going to see them get an early lead. Jin's going to be untouchable with Soraka supporting him. The position is going to be fine. They're going to shred everyone who tries to come their way. If they don't, it's going to be Diabolus.
All right, Orcs, we're about to get into game. So quickly, give me one name. Who do you think is going to win this game?
I think MNM. I think it's going to be harder for Diabolus to execute the 1-3-1 later in the game.
Alrighty, there you hear it. Everyone's in favor of MNM coming into this game. So we're going to head onto the Summoner's Rift. Bye-bye, Orcs. We'll see you later.
Nice having you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Alrighty.
Lots of teleports here. 3 teleports for MNM.
They're playing for pressure on the map.
As if 2 wasn't enough on your top and mid laner. Also going for one on Monk. And in the end, I think that Shogun had a last-second switch up back here to the heal instead of going for the cleanse. So that does mean that both Monk and Shogun are basically sitting ducks if they ever get hit by a binding here. Also makes the setup for Monk's ganks a lot easier. And after the last game, I'm kind of worried for MNM. I think that if they can avoid that, if they can make sure that they're able to get into a mid-game situation where the Lissandra kind of spikes, where you get the Silas Steel available, you get Onslaught of Shadows. These are the moments that you're kind of looking for, when you can try and find these early game team fights when Kerberos hasn't had the time to really scale up on the Clapto Vayne, and you can kind of dodge Monk's Impale. Later on, it's looking rough as already at the first pause, and once again, we see both junglers here go for standard start, both at the red side.
Yeah, I'd be pretty much standard stuff. Everyone's starting red side at this point. I mean, coming into this game, like we said, the Morgana, when you're cleanseless, it's risky. And I do worry that, you know, that one binding could turn the lane because, you know, the Jhin, he wants some time, especially if he's going for double Infinity Edge. That's a serious amount of cash investment.
That's a lot.
That's 6,800 gold, I believe, you have to invest to get that item. Well, to get both those items. So it's a lot of gold going into this Jhin before he starts to really chunk people down. I mean, that's saying he does go for it, though. He might opt into, like, the Infinity Edge rapid fire cannon build, you know, the kind of more long-range build and a bit more pokey. But we don't know exactly what we're going to build. Everyone's been talking a lot about this Infinity Edge build. So a lot of gold going to be invested going into this game.
And once again, it's not just the bindings and the Varus ultimate, it's also the Impale, it's also the Condemn. I think the only one who doesn't really have any reliable CC is going to be Croxon. And, you know, if Akali's on top of you, CC is the last of your worries.
Yeah. You, yeah.
No,
I fully agree.
That's actually,
I have nothing to say.
That's really nice, Jay. Because, you know, sometimes your co-caster says something, you're like, oh, that's just wrong, but this time, I hope it was.
Even if you are wrong, you have to be nice about it, right?
Oh, of course.
Whenever I used to cast with Tyg, he'd be like, Jake, I love you, dude, but you're so wrong here.
That's nice. That's a nice way to do it.
Well, taking a binding to the back of the head is not a nice way to play the lane, but not going to be able to prioritize on that now. You do have to keep in mind is, at this point, the kill pressure, without a massive misstep, is going to be fairly low for both of these bot lanes. You got to keep in mind that, like, even if that binding does connect, how much can they really follow it up with without that jungle intervention? As another binding connects, chunks him down a little bit lower, but with some rocket to heal him up, with the fact that he's got the fleet footwork as well, the kill pressure in this lane at the moment is relatively low. As we now have a little look towards this top lane. You see Curb pretty much equal in CS here to Mummus, but the trades have been going in favor of Mummus so far. As the Kleptomancy Vayne obviously doesn't quite have the burst damage that like the Electrocute Silas has.
Definitely. Do want to see Mummus shoving this wave and then back off, because you know that Skarner is going to be topside as, you know, and Hakrim's doing the bot side scuttle, but instead, no pressure from Monk as he's going to go back, and as a Predator jungler, it's really understandable. You just want to get your boots as soon as you can.
I might just eat my words here. Monk is forced to flash away. The Ignite is on, and Yusa jumps in. Hado finds first blood. Heal pressure on my left foot. They took so much damage. Now Nolty, seeing if he can make something happen. He's on top of a MNM ward, so he hasn't been spotted. And now they're teleporting Monk into this lane. Hado looks for the binding, does find it, and it's a big chunk.
And this is what we talked about. You're a cleanseless Jhin. You need to sidestep those bindings, because you're going to eat one, like you said, and you're going to be fine. But especially with Monk is also making his way there. He is spotted on a ward. And Shogun can sustain you through so much, as long as you just don't get all in, right? And that was exactly what happened there. Lethal tempo got proc by Yusa, and he just dives on top of you, Ignite from Hado. And now Monk, crucially, doesn't have the flash available, meaning that his sidestep needs to be so clean. We do see that at the moment that Monk shows himself bot side, Mummus immediately realize, okay, now I can start shoving again, try and get some poke damage down and just keep this Vayne underneath a turret. But in terms of CS, Curb's fine.
Going on the Croxon to get the slows and the damage down. He's getting drained out and chips. Well, the auto attack secures himself a kill. MNM do trade back.
That's kind of what you're looking for. Like we said, I feel like MNM fall behind early on, as once again, they're standing so deep, they don't have any wards there.
The binding has come down already, so it is up for the moment as Monk's trying to get that damage onto Yusa. He's got the fourth shot available and the movement speed. Tries to turn it into Yusa. Almost got that auto attack damage down, but it's not enough. Shogun unable to keep Monk alive, and he's now 0-2 on this Jhin.
And it's a risky pick, and if you can make it work, that's great. And we see there, if you... Against a carry that isn't as great as you, they might have stepped forward just a little bit, and Monk might have been able to get the return kill, but Diabolus to just play it out clean. There's no vision, they're overextended, they're permanent pushing in this lane, and then if a single piece of CC hits here, the follow-up is always going to be enough to take down Monk. Yes, he stays alive for a while, but already 0-2 here, and I think that we're going to see Monk as just completely keep coming back to this lane, right? Because yes, Mummus, he's putting a lot of pressure on.
Level 6 is there.
Evades the third proc from Silverbolt as well, which is nice. But mind you, if you're this low, Naughty can actually just immediately demolish you with a devastating charge if you're not careful.
I mean, Curb's already taking a serious amount of damage now. Mummus ahead for the moment, but it looks like they're not actually going to fully commit, although Naughty cancels the base. The way he's pushing in, Curb might just be victim.
Ooh, that's level
here. That
6.
final hour will be used by Mummus as he jumps onto Curb. Curb also has final hour. They play him back with the charge. He flashes away underneath the tower. Naughty tanking away. They use that condemn, and Curb actually turns the play around, makes it out 1v2.
That's a really, really crisp level up there, making great use of the final hour to keep his survivability to high. And Croxon.
Croxon's level 6. He's got that perfect execution. Mummus flashes away. Part 2 will be coming up, and Croxon unable to find that execution. And they are able to make their way away safely.
Just a Vamp Scepter. I feel like he could have gone to execute a Mummus, but he might have also died getting knocked back into the turret there if he committed by Naughty with the devastating charge. And that's not really what he wanted to go for. In the end, though, it's still Diabolus who... Great defensive play from Curb, because this is one of the things that you can punish the Vayne for, is go for those dives. But then if she outplays you, she stays alive, you waste so much resource trying to get something going on the top side of the map. And that means that, once again, the bottom side... Despite this all, though, and this is kind of crazy to me, Monk is still up in CS.
And you also got to keep in mind, both of those kills went to Hado, not Yusa. So he didn't get those double kill gold. He hasn't got that additional bit. Obviously, he has the assists, so it's not like he's completely lacking in gold. But with the CS deficit, Monk's relatively equal to Yusa in the gold at this point in the game.
Also has a call, so that's going to pay out eventually. And really surprising.
Well, not if you're going to get him paid back. He is Dunzo. Monk tries to turn the play around, and this time Yusa finds the kill. They just are not respecting the fact that Monk is camping their lane.
And you're Jhin, you're flashless, and you have no cleanse. Like, those are 3 reasons why you just need to play so incredibly carefully. But every single time they step too far forward, and like you say, they don't respect it. A gank with Onslaught of Shadows here might be really big, but they need to be careful because if Hado or Yusa had Ding 6 there...
They spotted him on that ward though, that blast cone
Yeah.
ward. They spotted Nolty, so they knew he was there.
They do ward their bot side river.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually take a moment to have a look at the wards, outside of the crab that has just been picked up, MNM have no wards. So it's almost easy for Monkeys. He still has his flash available as well. Can continue to just sit in this bot lane, assert that pressure onto Monkeys. Now just picked up the pickaxe, but you look at Yusa, who's got the build water cutlass, got that dagger as well. He's quite comfortably building towards this Blade of the Ruined King. Wants to get that Rage Blade before he really hits that bigger power spike.
And I think that something like the Lissandra that's traditionally really good at neutralizing someone like Yusa getting fed, like a fed 80 carry, the Black Shield is going to make that a lot harder. And yes, Black Shield was nerfed in 9.9, so it's not as overbearing.
Oh, actually, they just put the ulti onto Croxon. He's low HP. Meanwhile, Mumus uses the Impale backwards, gets pulled down, and Nolty jumps in, finds himself a kill onto Curb, and Monk is running away. Mumus chasing that damage down, and 1v2 turns it around. Nolty comes in to save the day, and a double kill for the pony.
Not only a double kill, but the topside jungle is just completely open now because Croxon got taken low by Chips' aggressive play there. And these counter ganks we saw last time, Nolty, if he can find them, he can play them out expertly and make sure that he gets a lead of that. Now, last time, that lead wasn't enough to carry them, but a really fat Hakram is a really good way to keep the pressure up on a stationary AD carry like the Varus. So now we already saw that Nolty's going for the Gromp, he's going to pick up the blue buff as well. And Monk is responsible to say, well, that's fine, that's going to be gone, I'm just going to go to bot lane again. And he can now no longer match flash for Monk, so that's actually huge because it doesn't mean he doesn't get a guaranteed impale off.
That's going to be the big thing.
Now, if a binding hits, he's still dead.
Yeah.
Right? But that's always going to happen.
Shogun now has
him.
Wish as well, though, on that level 7. It's depressing when Monk is a lower level than his support.
Yeah.
But this time, he's now playing a range.
He's still 20 CS up, though.
Yeah, I mean, he is... Even though he's been camped, even though he's 0-3, he's actually not out of this game. But you can see Diabolus double control ward on both of the bushes on this side of the map. They can smell Monkeys wants to come down here. They know that he's looking for that play. And Diabolus just freezing the wave here, forcing all of them to step away. And
oh, that's cheeky.
That's so horrible.
Just deny that gold. You're not getting the gold for that walk, for that ward kill. And
now, you are seeing that MNM are punishing the fact that they know Monk is just sitting in the bot lane. They're getting full pressure around the side of the map. You saw the Nolty placed around, had a look at trying to get his hands onto that Rift Elder's Monk is looking to take himself the Cloud Drake here in this bot lane. But look at Nolty. No Ghost available, but he is looking to make something happen onto Kerberos.
The Kerberos kind of senses it, and he's been really good about it. The only time he got killed was in that counter gank when he already fully committed. This kind of senses that something is wrong. Also has the ward there.
Multiple members here. Monk has flash. They use that suppression back. The binding finds its mark as well, and Croxon jumps in. Chains of corruption on a Monk. Has to flash away. Health bar's low, and Monk is able to find himself a kill, but the ignite ticks down, and 2 members of MNM fall.
And that flash investment from Monk there, after already seeing that the Wish was used, seeing how low his health, tried desperately to keep himself alive. And I love the spacing from Zecida from Diabolus, because one binding went to Monk. Just keep him in place while we impale and kill Shogun. And then we can still switch over to Monk, because he is still a sitting duck. You're talking about a Jhin, it's not an Asriel that has an amount of self-peel and can just try and stay awake. Now, we're going to see a first turret trade. I don't know who's going to get it first, with the Rift Herald charge included.
Well, the Rift Herald's coming in. It should actually get this charge off on as Chips jumps in, but now you see Mumus has to flash away. The shield comes down the curb, looking for the chase. One more, finds the stun. Mumus tries to get the heal. Kerberos takes a tower shot, and it all goes awry as Nolty charges in to take him down. Everything goes black, and I have no idea what's happening.
You got to imagine that there was a kill right there. We go.
Who got first turret blood?
It was MNM in the end. It was. That showed up in a matter of because bot side turret somehow still standing. But
How?
yeah, I know, right?
What happened? What did we miss?
I think that Monk and Shogun just made it barely in time.
Monk has no R, so that's my only thing I could assume.
I bet it's like cooldown, based on the cooldown. It's been a while, right?
Watch out though, Monk is
Monk
once
is.
again looking for Shogun. That Impale's available. They get the black shield on, he flashes away. Monkis has to run out for the moment, but a piercing arrow might just find its mark, and Yusa gonna get pinned in by Monk. The binding does connect into the chains of corruption. Shogun healing him up, and Hado jumps away. Monk forced to run out as they flash in, and Yusa will find the kill. Shogun will be next to fall. This game has just gone so bad for MNM's bot lane. 0-5 for Monk, 0-2 for Shogun, and everybody in this bot lane is exceptionally fed.
The mark between genius, or like the line between genius and insane is so small. And I saw Monk forward, I'm like, this is Monk, right? Like, he's just going to get a triple kill here. But he walks forward, and he gets hit by a binding.
Did that teleport cancel?
We don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
This is really heightening the suspense. I want to, because Monk was so incredibly strong early on, and able to consistently find those plays in the previous game.
Oh, the chairs are there. Just gonna. I almost kicked a light over.
That's okay. We're good.
Everything's breaking, and I'm just killing the studio at the same time.
You're making it worse. But Monk, in the last game, every single time he jumped forward, he made it work. And here, he keeps going for these aggressive plays. And that was not a play where you need to go forward and try to salvage a kill like early on. That was just, so Skarn is low, but he had to disengage, right? Soraka was able to get out, and he still walks forward. He eats a binding, and he just dies. To
me, what it shows is actually kind of a lack of respect of what Jhin is capable of as a champion. You know, when he's on the likes of the hyper carries like the Tristana, like the Kai'Sa, the people who can reset, jump around the fight really quickly, the Vayne as well. This kind of play would work for him. But on a Jhin, low mobility, he's got a low attack speed. You know, it's all about the big chunks of damage on Jhin. He has that reload time as well. It's detrimental. You saw multiple times he's gone into multiple people, chunk them low, and then just been able to walk away. Now, this is actually a replay of that play.
We'll get to see him die again.
Just reversing back a little bit.
Because this is what I talk about. Like, I see Monk moving forward here, flashless, into a Morgana, and I think this is going to be an amazing play. And that is what you look at this. He's moving with the wave, he goes in, and then once the binding hit, you're done.
Won the trade. Don't step forward. Like, and look, he could have killed Hado. If he wasn't a champion, but uses 4 auto attacks.
Even flashes here. And what this is saying to me is that after the last game, MNM's, at least for the bot lane side, because the top half of the map seems to be doing fairly well, and once again, Naughty having an amazing performance on the pony here. But the bot side, it is so many individual plays. It's just constantly disrespecting. It's not respecting the fact that you're on Jhin. It's not respecting the Dark Binding into the CC from the Varus ultimate. And just Monk is relentless pressure here on the bot side.
He actually did finish that TP there. As the turret goes down, 10 plates for MNM on the map. So while the bot lane is
in shambles,
turbo feeding, they are keeping themselves relevant. They are doing a good job with this plate play. Now Croxon actually does get found out by Nolty. Chibs on that flank. Uses the Shroud for the moment as the claw comes down. Chibs follows it up. Monkeys looks to get the damage down. He roots him into multiple places. Has that R to work with, and Nolty takes him down. Monkeys running away. They're looking to chase the Proto Belt in. Mummus steals away an Impale, but in comes Hado. They find the binding, and Yusa gets yet another kill.
I kind of understand the strategy from MNM here. They feed the bot side of the map so that Diabolus get over-aggressive.
Mummus has Impale. Mummus has Impale. The slow connects. Has got that abscond in a minute. And that Kingslayer as well. But Monk is looking to find him out. They chase him with a claw. Not going to follow it this time. And MNM playing with fire.
As I was saying, MNM, you feed the bot side of the map so Diabolus get over-eager and they just keep killing Yusa and break their spirit. I imagine that's what's happening here, but they're not, because Yusa hasn't died yet this game.
I really hope their game plan wasn't, all right, lads, we're going to feed Yusa, and then we're going to play for shutdown gold.
When I hear you say, all right, lads, this is not going to be a good strategy, is it? it's not.
I mean, that wasn't a good strategy, what you said.
No.
Alrighty, well, he was able to take himself a turret. He is 3 minions away from cashing in on that coal, and he is down 1,400 gold.
To be fair, though, Naughty is fed, which is, like, Naughty being fed, I keep coming back to this, because this is actually really big, because if Chips and Naughty can jump on top of him, right? On top of Yusa, rather, there's not that much he can do. Yes, he has the Dark Binding available, and there's maybe an Impale, but besides that, there's not the beefy front line that Diabolus had available the last time. Now, what you gain for that is you get an additional threat, but Kerberos is still 1k gold behind. This 1-3-1 is always going to be risky up until the point where Mumus starts to fall off, and with a k gold advantage, that might be a while. So it's not the easiest, and if you want to set up a 1-3-1, the hard engage, yeah.
Nulty, the chains connect by Yusa, and he just disengages that play. Actually, chunks a lot of damage now, but Chips jumps in forward, flashes in, throws down the ultimate, they pin him in place, burning through that black shield, and the shutdown is picked up by Mumus. He still has an Impale to work with. The chains are connecting, and Krogson's looking for that flank. In comes the curtain call. They find the chains onto Monkeys. 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4 as Hado will take a little bit of poke here, but Krogson launches in, actually uses the Shroud. Shogun's low. Now they use the Onslaught to get onto Krogson. The root comes down and Krogson is low HP. He flashes away and Mumus cleans him up onto this side.
Goes back in!
Popping off. The binding finds his connection onto Nolty, but he only tanks 2 tower shots, and MNM turn around the fight and they bite back.
And in a 5v5, if you can't get to Shogun, you see what happens here. Everyone kind of gets low, but they just get healed up back immediately. Wish is still available, and it's nice that Kerberos picks up a free topside turret here, but Monk's making his way there. There's going to be a Mountain Dragon unless we see a Miracle Steel coming through from Monkeys. They do want to contest.
It might just be that big fight. The health bars are low. Nolty jumps in, doesn't quite secure the Drake for the moment. He gets the pin down onto multiple members. You see Shogun, low HP, gets the silence. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and now Chips, Protobelt onto Hado. 2 members of Diabolus falls, and the game is starting to turn back for MNM.
And Diabolus, they need to respect the hard engage there, because this all started with Yusa doing what we've seen Monk do this entire game, disrespect the engagement from the opponent.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. They're disrespecting the engage. Nolty is on a killing spree, 6-1.
You can maybe stand that if you have a Black Shield available, and even then it's a risky call, but just standing there. Nolty is so fed. He has to try first. He has to Sindulk. He's going to shred through you if he even gets remotely close to you. And Yusa didn't have the flash available yet. They had no peel from the Black Shield. And this is what I was talking about. And the moment that I mentioned it, it happens is in a 1-for-1 scenario, I think that eventually as Diabolus, you're going to win the side lanes, but your 3 people in the middle are going to be really susceptible. You really need to be careful, because if you can kind of make sure that Nolty doesn't get onto you, because if Hakrim tries to engage and the Morgana is there.
Monk might just die.
Yeah.
Protobelt's on, uses the Shroud, they're teleporting members in, trying to keep Monk alive, actually pins him in place, but that's just going to be the execution. Now Mumus, he has a perfect execution to work with, jumps back as he might just try to chase here, jumps in for the assassination, finds him, and now Hado is trying to get the sustain. In comes Shogun, flashes in for the heal, Hado's low, the Black Shield's on, Mumus chasing for the kill.
No way!
The chains, Mumus, what the hell is happening? Shogun,
he's still alive!
Him up. In comes Chips with the chains as Yusa finds himself the connection onto multiple members as they find...
They all live!
They all come out alive from the play. MNM, what the hell was that?
Shogun! Shogun is literally a superhero who flashes in, because Mummers was going back in here, was like, what is this? What are you doing, Mummers? But he respects the fact that Shogun has his back. And incredible, they're going to pick up a topside turret, and this is a team fighting that is just absolutely insane here. The amount of healing available to everyone, and it's not just the healing from the Soraka, right? I want to see Executioners calling. I want to see that Morello's finish for Kroxin, because it is the Hakarim sustain with the W and with the Conqueror. It's the Kingslayer on Mummers. It's Chips itself if he would choose to go for a Glacial Tomb on himself. And then finally, Shogun coming up absolutely huge there. KDA might look the cleanest, but that was an insane play coming through there.
When you're stuck with 0-6 AD carry, your KDA is never going to look that clean,
yeah, no,
to be fair.
but I was singing praise, because this Soraka pick, this is the problem, right? Like, as Diabolus, if you don't find the pick, because they have so much individual pick potential, right? You have Binding into Impale, into Varus Ultimate, into someone like Vayne diving on top of them. If you don't find those, though, in a straight-up team fight, the AoE damage from the Hakarim, from the Lysandra, from the Silas, combined with just Shogun keeping everyone up, is insane, as we saw there. And MNM, it was looking dire, but they're still very much in this, and an incredible kind of resurgence here in the mid game for them.
And you're actually seeing Monks opting away from the double Infinity Edge, gone for the Zeal, so building for most likely to be the Rapid Fire Cannon, like Shiv build. And I feel like when you fall this far behind, the double Infinity Edge is just too expensive. It's just too risky. It's just too greedy.
To everything.
Yeah, so I actually respect that Monk goes, okay, I'm not going to go double IE. I'm going to go for the Rapid Fire Cannon. I want to play for range. Monk is actually looking for Shogun, knows he's important. Black Shield's on, and he speeds him back. That is the end of Shogun. Krogsson finds that kill. Diabolus 12 and 12 at 21 minutes.
Setting up a trap for Kerberos. Don't know if he's going to fall for it, though. Doesn't look like it. Respect the initiation there. And Naughty needs to make sure that he does stay around Baron, because it will go down fairly fast. Now, MNM also picked up a Mountain Dragon for themselves as Naughty and Monk stepping forward. But don't forget, no Righteous Glory, no Impale. And this is really one of the main tools of engagement for Diabolus. Just have Monk as run at someone, unless you can find a binding.
Well, you're seeing Monk just quite happy clearing his wave out, steps back, paying respects. You see the next Mountain Drake. Well, the next Drake will be a Mountain Drake. So probably a hotly contested one, especially if MNM can get 2, because with their comp, they actually have a relatively slow Baron. Obviously, you do have the consistent damage from the likes of your Hecarim, from the likes of your Silas, but you haven't got like a Baron taking AD carry, right? Like it's quite slow. It's quite painful, but
Lissandra also kind of
if you're buffing up those 4 shots from the Jhin with double mountain, though, that's when those chunks really start to hit.
And you also need to deny it to Diabolus, because giving it over to a Blade of the Ruined King Yusa and also Kerberos.
Flash uses that perfect execution. Krogsson flashes away, but the Onslaught of Shadows do find their mark, and Krogsson will fall. The curtain has been called here. And Diabolus are looking just to run away, as that one pick might just spell MNM getting their hands onto this mountain.
And, you know, Diabolus could take a really quick one themselves. Monk, careful, please.
Actually, Mumus might be in for trouble here. Gets the chain slapped down. Goes golden for the moment. Now multiple members chasing him. Kerberos finds the shutdown, the suppression onto the key member. Oh, Monk just flashes in. Takes himself a kill. The shutdown in his pocket. Now Yusa finds out the chains. Another stopwatch gets used, and Naughty looking to engage. They throw the claw forward. Chips slowing members down for the moment. Proto belts on. Yusa gets a black shield, and Monk is going to flash away. He makes it out alive, and MNM don't find the punish. They don't find the turnaround.
They might actually try and go for Baron here with the second Mountain Dragon get picked up, as long as Shogun can stay alive and maybe sustain up a little bit. Fortunately for him, there's no healing plans available right now. As they start the Baron, this is what happens when you have the double Mountain now. Krogsson, he can come up huge here because these health bars are so low, Jake.
He has that ultimate available, and now Chips stepping back. They're aware of it. The binding goes wide. They try to get some damage onto Krogsson.
They keep it going.
Already know Chips is in. Kerberos jumps in. Nolty goes down. He's forced to use the stopwatch to stay alive for as long as possible, as Monk has to try and turn this play around versus absolutely everyone on Diabolus. Kerb launches into him. The black shield is used, and a double kill for Kerberos. The game has fallen apart for MNM.
Why would you, like, going for the Baron there and seeing how fast you can chunk it is fine, but then hard committing to it when you know that your health bars are so low. There's an Akali on the way. You see the teleport coming through. You just can't. Miracle steal from Mumus one time.
He has to try and make it work. 2k HP. It's Kerb looking to chase him down. Mumus may just go over the wall right here, but he's going to hold fast for the moment. Gets condemned. Back flashes in. Doesn't quite secure it, and Mumus will fall down. Diabolus get themselves a delayed ace and Baron.
And the gold lead now firmly in favor of Diabolus. They turn around their deficit, and it's a constant back and forth here. And if the base gets broken open, this is where it's really going to start to hurt for MNM, because Diabolus, we talked about this 1-3-1, and if you're not doing great, and once again, we see that man's Blade Vayne coming through. He pulled it out last time, does it here once again. And this is what I'm talking, like, you see how low they are. Even with just the 2 of them, you should back off here. But you know that the rest of the team is on their way as well, and they stay on it for so long regardless. And then it's just easy clean up here. And this is what we saw first game as well, but this is a really extreme example of MNM not respecting their opponents, and their fights that they do are so good, and then they follow it up with a macro play like this, where you got to be scratching out and going, if we just back off here and go for another fight, or try and force it another way, we might be just fine. Now, the saving grace for MNM is a lot of their turrets are still standing. Thus far, they've been in control most of the game, so it's not like their base is going to get broken open really fast. And there's always the wave clear and the threat of an engagement with now the Impale going over to Mummers.
Yeah, Mummers does pick that up, but does have to play fairly far back. The Black Shield as well there does make it harder and harder for him to find that kind of execute off, find that pick off. As Krogson split pushing in the top lane, you see Curve in the top lane, Krogson in the bot lane. And now these kind of even turret trades are starting to turn in favor of Diabolus as they are pulling the gold lead ever so slightly, bit by bit with this Baron in their favor. And the game now just snowballing away from MNM.
And this is the 1v1 that's really hard to defend against, because I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to take Curve in the 1v1, especially with how tanky he is.
Oh, they onslaught Shadows on. They actually do get the fear. Deliver him back. Chips pins him in place with the ultimate. The redemption comes down. Curve trying to buy time. 1v2. Actually gets out alive. Chips unable to chase him. And now Monkeys with the Impale, with the stun as Krogson turns it around. The Wish comes down to heal.
Naughty lives!
Yusa is there. They find the kill. The Chains of Corruption connect onto Mummers into the binding. Layering CC after CC is enough to find the kill onto Nolty. And Diabolus punish MNM.
It's Deadman's Blade. Vayne, it's a stroke of genius as Kerberos gets away with just the slightest amount of health. But more importantly, he baits the rest of MNM in. They try to hold this inner turret.
Oh, you see Mummers actually launched into the fray. The Impales onto him. Teleports are coming in. It's going to be Chips joining up the team. It's a double kill already picked up for Yusa. And Chips has to claw away. But Krogson is now looking for a kill onto Monk. Will be hard underneath his own turret, as Chips has to blast cone away and join up the rest of his team. This game is crumbling away from MNM.
And it's still a 4-1 split push, just Chips and Monk. Naughty coming back in, he might be able to maybe find someone, but Krogson is so hard to take down here.
Oh, he uses the stopwatch at the perfect time. The binding connects. It's a 1-for-1, but it doesn't matter because they're losing everybody. Yusa comes up huge again. The condemned by Curve into the wall as Chips will fall down. Yusa finds a triple kill on the Varus.
It's
and
just
that might
Shogun.
be all she wrote for MNM. Shogun has to somehow hold this as Mummers is joining up. The turret will go down and Mummers leaping in, but the tankiness, the sustained DPS is just way too much, and Shogun has been forced away. They're onto the turret. The health bars are low for Diabolus, and this might be their moment. In comes the Soul Shackles from Mummers. He's found himself one. He's found himself two, but Kerberos is just way too much for them to deal with, and MNM will fall down here as Diabolus are looking to take the game, but the minions are here. They've got to take the inhibitor, and MNM have somehow gripped onto this game. In comes Nolty. He is speeding towards as Nunk has got himself one. He's looking for a double kill, looking for the shutdown, but Curve is just way too tanky. Somehow turns it around, somehow takes down Shogun, and this game is still going on.
It's still not over yet, Jake. Somehow MNM hold on there. And even with a double 80 carry here, as soon as Yusa goes down, they can't find the damage that they need to, because while Kerberos' build, especially now with the Renduin's finished, is really good in terms of 1v1, I do feel like he's lacking the amount of raw power just to strat through those nexus as fast, and especially the wave clear just isn't there. So he just gets stuck in wave of minions. Now finding that return kill on Shogun is a stroke of brilliance. But MNM, they live to fight another day, and against this team, I think MNM's problem really is just their rotations and the shot calling, because their team fights and just the individual level of play that I keep seeing from them, it's really good. It's just like stuff like overextending when Naughty moves too far forward, and then Chips' teleport being used by the time the rest of his team's already taken down, trying to look for a flank. These are the kind of moments that you look at them and you go like, that's, as Ox would say, a little bit dicey. But then at the same time, they cling on to D with their cold dead hands. And Diabolus, like, they're not going to pry this game from them.
They are holding on fast. Now, another Mountain Drake is going to be spawning up. 2 waves of supers as well, making this game oh so hard. But Nolty wants to find that execution as the curtain gets called. The claw comes out. MNM, it's do or die. It's time to fight as Monkeys will be chain CC down, and MNM find the kill. Mummers launches into 2 members, tries to get the assassination off onto Yusa. They do find a slight slow, but Krogson is ending the game. He's got the teleport to work with. We're looking at Chronicler Cam as the game is ending here. The Curve is onto the tower, onto the Nexus. 30 minutes and Diabolus get a 2-0 over MNM.
My words are failing me, Jake. after that ending. I understand MNM.
I love that we had a chronicler cam there just during that time. Oh, what's happening? That was hype. That was so hyped by Diabolus.
Yeah, but the fact that this is what baffles me is that we're kind of coming in Diabolus. They're not looking too clean. We give them a little bit of shade that this is not looking too good. First game they fell behind. But somehow they just win games. And this is such a good example of it because the one time that we see a step too far forward, he just gets punished. And now, in case of some of the laners from MNM, there were a couple of too many steps forward. But you got to commend Diabolus here because coming up after a game one where you kind of fall behind and then not really make it work, somehow make it work on the back of one amazing team fight. Now, you get behind, or you get that early game, so you feel good. But then you start dropping, you almost lose the Baron, and then to still have kind of the mentality to bash through that, and then lay on the relentless assault, and then end the game with a double backdoor as Yusa and Monkus serve as excellent bait. Incredible.
It was such a good turnaround there for Diabolus in game one, but game two, that was their game to win. They had complete control of it all time over, but we still got another best of three to come. We still got another final to come here in Forge of Champions as they have to take on our tower champions, Fnatic Rising, and it is a repeat of the UKLC Grand Finals as we have Fnatic Rising versus Diabolus. So very excited to get going into this game because coming into today, from what I saw, to me, it looked like MNM were the team who had, the more clean play. They were playing around the meta well, but they know how to punish them, and they punish them perfectly to put them into an equal footing. And MNM, on equal footing, don't look as strong as they do when they're 10k ahead. And we have our MVP, who is Monkus, the jungler for Diabolus.
And I think that Monk is actually, and it's not like about the big KDAs, but in the Jarvan game, he consistently, even when he's so far behind his opponent, consistently finds the engages that he needs to, gets the lockdown on top of the key carries. And, Monk dying in that final fight, that is really his effort. And here, even in that game, his impales were impeccable. He camped the bot lane up until the point where it felt like Monk and Shogun were just holding on for dear life, just trying not to completely get shut out of the game. And then the final bait, I really like that. He was the sacrificial scorpion.
The sacrificial scorpion. But, it's now time for them to reset. They need to look towards their next matchup, which will be versus Fnatic Rising, who have just come off the back of coming in top 4 at the European Masters. The furthest a UK team has ever made it. This is going to be a hard game for them because the last time Diabolus took on Fnatic just wiped the floor with them. So they've got to kind of come off this win. The energy that you're all feeling quite hype right now. You're all excited because you just got this win. But now you got to refocus. You got to reset because you have another best of free to play straight the way after.
Yeah, and that's always, you need to cool down, but not kind of lose your flow, because I got to imagine after that game you're not only pumped up, but you're also in a position where you feel confident, you make the right calls consistently, and then you kind of want to keep that going without staying too amped up, because this might be another 3 hours slugfest ahead of you. Because Diabolus, we said, MNM really the kings of the early game, and I think they kind of made that, especially in the first game, they showed that. Diabolus, they are really good at punishing mistakes, but Fnatic, well, I think that, especially after EU Masters, they might be adept at not only executing it, but also kind of managing that. So if you go to a 3-game series here, you need all the energy that you can get.
Yeah, well, like we said, we got one more 3-game series to come up between Fnatic Rising and Diabolus. So don't go anywhere, because we're going to be finding out who is forged into a champion after the break.